Brenda with My Pastor's Wife Designs, and I am super excited for the Christmas season this year. And I know some of you want to smack me already, but first of all, I have had a whole summer with an Achilles tendon injury, and so I've had a lot of time to sit at home and create and get ready for the Christmas season. And we got a sneak preview of the holiday catalog, and so I got busy and just made a whole bunch of Christmas cards to give you guys some great ideas. And today I want to show you how to make this little card. I love this card. One of my favorite movies is North Pole Express? Now that I said it, I'm not sure that I know the name. But anyway, I love the magic of the Christmas bell and just believing. And so I wanted to share with you how to make this card. And I actually used a lot of scraps that I had on hand. You know how we save those little bits and pieces? Well, I'm going to show you how to use them. So join me today and I will show you how to make this great little Christmas card. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I want you to go ahead and gather the supplies that you're going to need for this card. And little tip that I have, I actually used bits and pieces of stuff that I have saved. I have a little Ziploc bag here of Whisper White pieces. You can see the different sizes that I have from different projects. And then I also have a piece of Emerald Envy. And then I have a full piece of Real Red, and I'm going to go ahead and score it so that I can get 2 cards out of it. I also will be using this gold baker's twine that is in our new catalog, and I am going to use just basic black because I want to do some coloring without any smearing. I've got a Real Red marker, and we're going to use that for some coloring. And then I have the Wink of Stella, the gold one, and we're going to be using that, and that's why we're using the black, is so that we don't have any smearing. The stamp set that I want to use today is Christmas Magic. This is really one of my favorites. There's so many things you can do with it, from really elegant to just super whimsical and fun. And I was thinking about the movie North Pole Express and the magic bell, the magic of Christmas. And then I also am going to be using our new embossing folder. It's called Cable Knit Dynamic, and I love the look it gives on the card. It really looks like a knit sweater, and it just, I don't know, it made me feel warm and cozy when I saw it. So let's go ahead and get started with the actual stamping and assembly of the card. So first thing you want to do is you want to get your scoreboard. And I love this tool. I use it so much, and I use it for everything. And I'm going to go ahead and score this whole sheet. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4 because it's 8 1/2 inches, so I want to score it right in half. And now, having done that, is what I've really done is I have created, once this is cut, 2 cards. And that is awesome because why not work smarter instead of harder? So I'm going to use my scorer, or not my scorer, my trimmer. I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2 inches, and I like to push it up, that way I don't have anything like pull down or slip, and so it stays straight. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. I'm going to set this aside for just a second. Okay, next I'm going to bring my Big Shot in. And if you don't have one of these, I really recommend you get it. Now you will need it to use it for the embossing. And then I also get my platform. Now there are different platforms that you can purchase now. This is the older style, but it still works for me. I'm going to slide that in. I'm going to get my red here. I'm going to go ahead and just give it a little bit of a fold with my bone folder, but I'm going to get it and embossing folder, and I want to line it up so that because this card is going to go up and down, so that it's just right on the edge there. I'm going to slide this in, so I'm going to set this down. Now I'm only going to use 1 plate because this particular embossing folder is especially thick, and the other plate is it makes it too thick to go through the Big Shot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to give this a spin and emboss this. And since I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and just do the same thing to the other piece of bread that I have. So I am done with that. And I'm going to set all of that aside, and then I'm going to bring this card base back over. All right. Now, again, I'm going to take my bone folder, flip that over from the embossed side, and just give it a nice crease. Okay, now that's ready. Now we want to do a little bit of stamping, and I've got a piece of white here, my Whisper White, one of my scraps, and I have it right here. And that is, I don't even know what size it is, and it really doesn't matter because it's just a scrap and we're going to be doing some cutting. So I've got my basic black, and I have my bell out of the set Christmas Magic, and I'm just going to stamp 3 bells. Make sure you're inked up well, and do 1, 2, 3, and I want that to just sit for a minute so that it can dry because we're going to color it. And then I've got another scrap here in my little, like I said, pile of scraps, and I want to stamp my words, and it's the Christmas, sending a little Christmas magic your way. Again, ink your stamp up well. I keep saying that and I keep thinking of the old ink wells. Sometimes I think I'm funnier than most people do, but that's okay. As long as I crack myself up, that's really what matters. Just going to give that a nice press. Remember, again, don't rock your stamp. Just set it down nicely. That way you won't get any edges that might have inked up as well. And there we go. And that was on my stamp just a little bit crooked, but I can trim that up. All right, so that is done. Now, I want to set this aside for a second, and we're going to take this, and you're just going to take your real red marker, and these come in a set right now. For Christmas, you can get the real red and a crumb cake, and these are awesome to be able to just get 1 or 2 that you might need without having to buy all the colors. And then just go ahead and color in your bows. I think it's funny how the adult coloring books have come back and they're so popular, and I chuckle to myself because I think, well, goodness sakes, I've been stamping for years and coloring in, and who knew that I was ahead of the fad. But that's usually the way, you know, to be ahead of the fad, and somebody else gets all the credit for their great idea and the money. And you see, this just doesn't take very long. And I realize that, you know, it's repetitive, but my idea is to show you that this just doesn't really take all that long to make a great card. And it's kind of, I don't know, soothing. I have needed my stamp therapy this last 2 months because I ruptured my Achilles tendon and have had to be pretty much immobile. And so it's been nice to have something to do, and I have done a lot. All right, now I've got my Wink of Stella, and I have my gold. It's all been shaken, and it's ready to go. And I'm just going to go in and go over this whole image, the bells, and it has some shimmer and shine, and it really gives it the gold look that I wanted. I had thought about inking it, but to be honest with you, I wanted it to be shinier, like a real bell, instead of, you know, yellow or something. So I'm going to do this to all of these, and then I'm going to come back over all of them one more time. Again, it goes pretty fast. Couple tips about the Wink of Stella. When you get them, when they're brand new, they have a black ring or black tip that goes around the top of it. Make sure you take it off, or you're never going to get any of your liquid out of it. And then give it a really good shake and a tiny squeeze until you see the liquid come down. It can glob, so you want to be really careful and make sure that if it's starting to show a lot, that it's going to drip. Make it come across your paper so it isn't on your actual stamped image. Otherwise, you're going to be upset that you did that. And then, like I said, I'm just going to give that a second coat here. And it dries really fast, and like I said, and then, let's see, we want to hit this one again. I love the Wink of Stella. I make sure I always have backups. I don't want to run out of it because I really have found that it adds some really nice dimension and shine. And you don't have to use glitter, which my husband is really happy about because he does not like that stuff at all. All right. Okay, so those are. And I actually have already done one set because this takes a minute or two to dry, and you know, nobody wants to watch paint dry. So I'm going to just set this aside to dry. And then I do have my 3 that I stamped or colored earlier. I'm just going to trim them out, and they will be literally, we're just going to fussy cut them. And you know, some of you don't like to fussy cut, and I totally understand that. I love to fussy cut, but that's just, you know, some people say we have our quirks. Maybe that's one of my quirks, is that I like to do that. But here's the trick. Don't move your scissors nearly as much as you move your paper, because you can just kind of hold your scissors where you want them and then twist the paper, and let your spinning, your twisting do the work, not your scissors. And then you get a nice line, which makes it just so much easier. And also, if you're going to make more than one, which I assume most of us are sending out more than one Christmas card, you can, you know, get them all stamped, and then, who knows, sit and watch some favorite Christmas movie and fussy cut all your little bells at the same time, and that, you know, then you've got them ready and you can pre-assemble, or you can have everything ready to assemble your cards. Okay, so because I said that I'm using bits and pieces of stuff that I had, I don't have exact measurements on, you know, what I want exactly for my card, so I'm going to play with some measurements. So I'm going to take my card here, and I'm going to have that background, that green background, and so I'm just going to kind of guess and see where I want it, how high up I want it, and I think I want it about this far over. So I'm just going to mark this with my marker about right there, so I kind of know where I want to have a cut line. And then I think I'm pretty happy with the height of that, so I'm going to mark it right there, and you'll see why in a minute. All right, so I've marked that because I'm not sure exactly what my measurements are, and then I can pull my trimmer out and then, you know, make more sense of it. So I've got my trimmer here, and I see my mark right here, and I see that it's at 3 1/4. I'm okay with 3 1/4 because that's an easy measurement to remember. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that, get that piece out of the way, and then my other line is going to be, I'm going to put it on my cut line, and it looks like it's at 2 1/2. So I'm going to move it actually down to 2 3/4. Okay, so I've got that piece, and that's going to be my background piece, and then I need a piece of white to layer on top of that. And now that I have the measurement of that one, that makes it easier for me. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of white here, and because, like I said, now we know that this is 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. I know that I want the white to be a little bit smaller, so I'm going to make it 3. That gives me a little tiny bit of an edge. So I want that to be 3 by 2 1/2. All right, and so now you can see that that's just going to sit right on there just the way I want it. And that's what we're going to mount the little bells on. While I've got my trimmer, I'm going to go ahead and trim this up. And I have a little trick that I found the other day that worked really well for me, because sometimes these littler papers tend to slide. I just pull out a little piece of washi tape, and I go ahead and decide where I want that to trim, and then I don't have to worry about holding it down as much, and I want that to be about right there. So I'm just going to stick a piece of washi tape there, and then that's not going to move on me at all when I trim it, which makes my life so much easier, and I have a lot less waste, and the washi tape just peels right off. And then I'm going to go ahead and again eyeball it. I'm not one for perfection, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to just give that a nice cut. Now, while we're here playing with our pieces, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one that I just cut, and I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of it. I'm just going to, use some snail on this one. Again, when you're sending cards, you may want to use the fast fuse because it's a little sturdier and will definitely hold it up in the mail. And I am just going to do that. And now I'll stick a piece of that same piece of washi tape on this again, just so it doesn't move around. I want to see where I'm going to trim that. That's going to be good. Stick that washi tape on there so it doesn't move. There we go. Now while I've got this, I'm going to take, and I want this longer because I want to make it look like a little banner. So again, eyeballing it, go like that. Again, like I said, you don't need to worry about your exact measurements because it's your card, and when you're playing with pieces and bits, it makes it nice to not worry. And then I am just going to, again, eyeball it and make my own banner end. If you want it to be precise, then of course feel free to measure it, or, do whatever that makes you happy. I have customers and people that want it so super precise, and that's great. I am not precise. All right, so the banner's done there. Now I'm going to move my trimmer out of the way, and I want to just go ahead and take my white down onto my green. All right, now grab some Stampin' Dimensionals as well because you're going to want them for the one bell. Okay, so you've got some Stampin' Dimensionals. Now I told you we were gonna use this gold baker's twine and a couple different things. Oh, I forgot we're gonna use a jingle bell too. I'm gonna take and I'm gonna wrap this around my hand. 1, 2, 3, back up to there. Give it a snip. And now I want to separate this, and I'm going to separate it into, I think it comes in six ply. Yeah. So it's at 6 ply, and I want 3 of the ply. So you can either unwind it or just kind of pull it if it actually pulls out pretty easily. And so I want 3 of them. Just 3. All right, so I've got the 3, and now I am going to make a little nest on my white background here. And the way I do that is I just, again, wrap it around my hand a couple times just till it's all around. And then I put a little piece of fast fuse where it's going to be hidden by the bells, maybe. Remember, soft touch and a check mark, which I didn't do. That's why I did that. Check mark, check mark. Okay, it's just going to kind of hold this in place until I get the bells down. So we're going to go ahead and wrap that back up because I let it come unwrapped. And then I'm just going to kind of set it down on here and just where it kind of hits the tape and, doesn't move for a minute. And I'm going to do that with all 3 pieces. Okay, see how we've nested that on there, and it just, it is what it is, right? It doesn't look fabulous, but it's going to be fine. Now I'm going to put some fast fuse on my little bell and press him down. I'm going to do it with the other bell as well. All right, and want it about right there. And then on this bell, I'm going to put Stampin' Dimensional. I might do 2 of them. Again, when I'm mailing, I like to reinforce my cards just a little bit better. And go ahead and peel this off. And peel this off. And I think I want it about right there. You like how that just pops off? Super cute. That's ready. Now, with the rest of your baker's twine, go ahead and get a jingle bell. And these jingle bells are in our new catalog as well. They're called mini jingle bells, and there are red ones and silver ones, and I am having a ball playing with these. Again, I like that whole idea of the North Pole Express movie and the magic bell. And yes, I know it's not real, and yes, I'm a pastor's wife, and yes, I take a lot of guff from people, but you know what, that's okay, because I have freedom in Christ, and I know that I can celebrate Christmas and enjoy the Santa Claus part of it and still know the truth. Okay, I'm going to tie this in a knot, slide my bell through, that way those fibers don't come as untangled. And now I want to make sure that it's going to go around my banner, so when I'm pulling my knot up, I want to make sure that that's going to hang off there, and it's going to. So now I want to just trim that up so it looks nice, and I'm going to flip this over, and I want to put just a strip of fast fuse here because I don't want it to slide off the end. Now I want to put a couple of dimensionals on this banner. Got the one there and one there, and then I a lot of times like to put one in the center as well, just so it doesn't collapse in on it. Again, that's probably overkill, but that's all right because that's my card. Now let's go ahead and just slide our little jingle bell on the banner, and let's make sure that we have the right side up. And then I've got that adhesive on the back of it, and the reason I did that is just so it doesn't maybe fall off the card in mailing or slide around in. Okay, now that's just going to be kind of tacked down, and go ahead and peel those off, and I'm going to leave it setting upside down for just a minute because now I'm going to finish assembling the card. I've got my card base here, and I have my jingle bells. Let's get some stuff out of the way, and I will go ahead and I will do fast fuse. And the reason I'm using fast fuse, you could use tear and tape as well, is because it's going on an embossed piece of paper. I want it to hold, and I don't believe that the snail holds as well, and I want to line this up like that. I'm going to press them all down. Now this is ready to go on, and of course we've got it all ready, and I'm going to just take and stick that right there. And there you have it. There's our super cute Christmas magic card, and just using all of these fun things, and I think it just stands out and it just makes me smile, and I think it would make anybody that you were sending it smile as well. Thanks for joining me. Again, I'm Brenda with MyPastorsWifeDesigns.com, and I'm just so excited to share my Christmas series with you. So go out and keep it creative today. Thanks for joining me. Bye.